Hey Betties, this is PJ Gatch, Senior Style and Beauty Editor at Betty Confidential. We're sitting and chatting with Steve Ward. He is the host of Tough Love Miami. You've seen him do Tough Love for single women, Tough Love couples, and now Tough Love is in the hot tropical city of Miami. I want to ask you a couple of quick questions about dating. If you could be a matchmaker for any celebrity out there, who would it be?
J-Lo.
Why?
Because I think that she's fresh on the scene, on top of the world, drop dead gorgeous, intelligent, successful, single mom. Sounds like a typical client of Master Matchmakers.
Why would she be a typical client? Is it because she's in her 30s, because it's harder, or?
No, most of the women that contact us are in their mid to late 30s, early 40s. They're serious about meeting somebody that they could end up spending the rest of their life with. They're tired of playing games and dating the wrong men. All of them have a lot to offer. They're beautiful, they're intelligent, they're successful, and they don't have time to waste on the wrong people. So I think that pretty much describes J-Lo to a T.
Yeah, would say that. Speaking about not wasting time on somebody, when you're on a first date and you realize it's tanking, should you stay through the end of the date, or should you just say thank you so much and leave?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say thank you so much and then just get up and leave. I would have a conversation about the fact that it's not really going well. And I would just sit there and I would say, you know, I got to be honest, I don't really think that this date is going that well. I think we could probably both save each other a lot of time by ending it here and going our separate ways. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. I just don't know how many women would be actually brave enough to say that to their date, or guys for that matter.
Well, I think it should be a lot easier for a woman to say it than it would be for a guy, because if a guy says it, he just kind of sounds like a jerk. And if a woman says it, well, then she just kind of sounds honest. And I know that there's a lot of men out there that would rather not waste their time with a woman they know they have no shot with than women to not waste their time with a guy they don't think they have a shot with.
What do you do before you go on a date to calm yourself down? A lot of times you get very nervous because of expectations. You want it to go good. What are any tips and tricks? You're laughing. Women sometimes run around the house.
I don't think VH1 would approve of some of my answers to this question. What would I do? I'll go for a run. I'll get a haircut. I'll go shopping. Maybe pick up, a nice accessory or a piece of clothing that I think might look good on the date. Maybe I'll meet a buddy for a drink at happy hour, have a drink or two before I go out and I meet the date. But I don't really get nervous before I go out on a date. I think if I were working with a client who would get nervous before they would go out on a first date, I would recommend that they, take a step back and put everything into perspective and realize that it's just a date. It's not a job interview. It's not an election. It's not a competition. It's just a date, and dating's supposed to be fun. And I think a lot of people have forgotten that.
Right. Well, a lot of women, for some reason, build up in their mind, even before the first date, that this person that they're going on the first date with may be the husband of, or their father of their children.
Yeah, but you know what? I think guys do the same thing too. They just don't admit it.
Really?
I mean, if it's somebody that they're going to take out on a date, and you got to think about that for a second. If a guy is only looking to sleep with a girl, then typically they'll want to hang out. Okay? And hanging out involves coming over to his place and watching a movie, going for a walk, meeting up with mutual friends, hanging out. Now, a date is a lot more respectful. You pick them up, maybe you bring them a small gift or a token of appreciation for them deciding to spend the evening with you. You take them somewhere nice, you demonstrate good manners, you act like a perfect gentleman, you talk about things that they want to talk about, you don't get into anything that's, too sensitive or taboo. You take them home, you walk them to the door. If you're lucky, she'll give you a kiss goodnight. If you're really lucky, she'll invite you in. But if you're going to that extent and you're actually dating a person, then a guy is doing the same thing. He's not going to waste his time putting his best foot forward just to have sex. He's putting his best foot forward because he wants to make a strong enough impression on you that you would take him seriously and maybe consider making him more of a priority than some of the other things that are in your life that are important, that he doesn't expect you to neglect, like getting to the gym or hanging out with girlfriends you haven't seen in a while or finishing that book you've been dying to read, if he feels like you're willing to make him a priority, then he's going to start projecting down the road and figuring out what the possibilities would be of you ending up in a relationship together. So I don't think women are the only ones that do that.
Oh, cool. Well, that leads me to a question. How do you know, or are there any indications for a woman to realize that the guy is interested in dating as opposed to hanging out? How can she tell quickly? Are there any indications, or is it something you learn over time?
Well, I think these indications go both ways. They work for men and for women. And the biggest indicator that somebody is taking you seriously is that they're making time for you. And there's a difference between making time and finding time. Finding time is, when are you available? Oh, I'm available. Okay, great, we'll just meet then. Making time is, when are you available? Well, that doesn't work for me. But maybe I can shift some things around and probably move this and reschedule that. But I think it could work. That's the difference. And when somebody makes the time for you, they're taking you seriously.
That would make a lot of sense. But let's say you're at a party, you're talking to someone, it's a very cute, flirty conversation. Is there any way for a woman to pick up any indicators that he's interested in dating or hanging out?
Ask him.
Just straight out ask him?
Straight up ask him. Be like, you know what? It seems like you and I got a really good vibe. I'm just wondering, do you think that we would do well dating, or would we probably be better off as friends? That's it. Give it to him. Serve it to him on a silver platter. And most guys will respect the audacity that it took for you to say that, and they'll be honest with you, and they'll tell you what they really think. And hopefully that's the beginning of your next great relationship.
The only problem with that is that most women are taught to be nice and to be accommodating and not to be that ballsy. So how do you get over that?
I think women that were born prior to 1990 were taught that. I think women that were born after 1990 have been taught to take matters into their own hands and go out and get what they want in life. So there's a lot of young ladies out there that are 21 and younger who are starting to date, whether they should be or not, and they are tenacious. And they go out there and they get what they want. And I'm a firm believer in carpe diem, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you don't express how you feel, and you don't state your intentions, and you don't put that out in the universe, then you really can't expect it to come to fruition.
So it's okay to be vulnerable?
Why wouldn't it be? What's going to happen to you? Really?
Oh, I would say getting shot down or being embarrassed publicly.
Who cares? It happens. What's
And
the
just
big deal?
roll with it?
I mean, it's not like you're walking into the room butt naked. It's not like you're putting this on blast in front of absolutely everybody. All you're doing is just telling them that you're available and that you're interested in them. So if they're not interested in you, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means that you guys aren't right for each other.
And it saves you time in the long run, too.
It really does. And if you're the type of person that's going to sit there and take that personally and feel like there's something wrong with you because that person isn't interested in you, well, then I think you have some emotional security issues that you might want to look at.
And do that first before you do start dating.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody is ever going to be complete in a relationship until they're complete themselves. And that's the point of Tough Love Miami. It's the point of every tough love. It's, you know, you're working with people that are perfectly desirable, except the fact that they have these holes in their life, these personality flaws, these character flaws, that if they took the time to bother addressing, maybe they could fix and be better off for a relationship.
So the idea is that a person completing you, which, by the way, I hate that phrase, but you complete yourself and then you find someone.
Right. Well, I just think that you can't be whole in a relationship until you're whole yourself. So it's not that you need somebody else to complete you. You have to complete yourself. And it's like Khalil Gibran says, you know, drink from each other's cup and fill each other's cup, but drink not from the same cup. You know, you have to fill your own cup with happiness, and then you can pour that and let somebody else drink out of your cup of happiness. You know, so don't put your entire peace of mind in the hands of another person. That's up to you, because if you do that and you take ownership of your own life, then when that other person does something, they cheat on you, they steal, they develop an addiction, they die in a terrible accident, you're not going to feel empty because you lost that person. You were whole when you met them, and you were whole when you moved on from them.
That is the best advice I think I've ever heard about dating.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.